All right, it is 6:30, June 17th. Or it's the time and place for the special public hearing regarding the ordinance violation. And on the phone is property occupant Scott Disler. And also Tim is on the phone over there. I'm just introducing everybody, Mr. Disler. Hold on just a moment, sir. Okay, sounds good. I'll just call you Scott. All right, we'll start with Dan. So, Mr. Scott, what we're gonna do is we'll have Dan Dan will come up to the podium and explain what's going on his end, and then give us a couple of moments, and we'll have an opportunity to talk. Okay.
Okay.
Good evening, Dan Larson, Community Service Director, Building Inspector. I've been working with Scott, who has a property at 109 Street Northeast since the year of 2022, when he moved in sometime in the spring or summer. In regards to a lot of items that were brought onto the property and are just outside storage for the whole yard. There were pictures taken during that whole time. One of those years, there was construction there. So there wasn't a lot of passing through. Things were disrupted, even with the hookup for his property there. Tried working with him by informing him of the ordinances and of maintaining property in a cleanly manner, and to upkeep property, to repair the structure. And it just seemed that there were periods where he would express the desire or would try to get it cleaned up, but it just never happened. This past year, this last fall, it got to the point where we've got to do something. And so I started writing him notices and told him that was going to happen if he doesn't get this cleaned up. And he didn't want to. And I said, well, then you can answer to the commission. Well, I have no choice in the matter.
Hold on, Scott, just a minute. After he gets done talking, we'll give you an opportunity, okay, but.
No, I understand that.
So, I proceeded to, as of, October was the first notice that was mailed to him and was hand delivered to Scotty, where he initialed the document and received the ordinances and the notice to get property cleaned up in writing. The second notice was given to him on November 2nd, which was almost a month later.
I know I continue to all of that stuff. That's very thing. And it's redundant to go through it again. I can do all of that. Everything you're saying is true.
Okay.
That doesn't fit my side of it.
Okay, hold on just a second, Scott. We'll get to you. I just have to hear this side of it real quick, and then we'll get to you, okay? We're not trying to upset you. I just gotta hear that side.
I'm sorry.
After the second notice was mailed, and he had also signed and after hand delivered it to him, or I personally hand delivered it to him. December or the first part of January, he asked if he could have an extension of time to be able to work on the property and the items to start getting it cleaned up. I granted that to him because figuring, okay, he is getting on and we're, okay, that's what it takes. I'm willing to work with him. As of April 10th, I sent him another notice, the renewal of that second notice. With a reminder that now we are activating that notice again with second notice to get this cleaned up. And then we didn't do anything with it, so then we are at this point right now, at this meeting. There were pictures taken during that whole time, different times, and you can see from when the time that he moved in to as of today, the condition that it's in.
All right, is that all you have for him, Dan, right now?
For now, yes.
Okay. Scott, would you like to give us your side of it, bud?
I work a lot, okay? And when I do have the time off, way too often it has been raining and I haven't been able to do anything outside. And a bunch of the stuff listed on those notices are my tools, material that I need to gather to do improvements on that house. But I don't have the money to buy everything all at one time, so I have construction materials stocked up that when I have enough, I will finish projects. And from what I understand from other people, that, the property is already looks better than what it did from the previous owner. Okay, and I'm doing the best I can, you know, as I said, a lot of that stuff that's listed is my tools. I have gotten rid of some of the junk, left there was some junk there and concede to that too. You know, but and then the other thing is, you know, it's so hard to go to the dump when you work full time and the dump is only open part time. So, you know, I got to give me a key to the dump where I can go when I have time, but, you know, he hasn't been able to do that, but, you know, complain about my stuff. And, you know, there's two things in the yard that, you know, granted would be junk, but most of it is not junk. It's my tools and things that I need.
All right,
That's really all I have to say, and I'm doing this again. I'm out of town working right now. When I come back, I've got enough lumber, that I need to transport to my place to go try to consent, which will cover up a lot of it. You know, it would be like you know, as soon as I get that, weather permitting, of course,
okay,
you know?
all right, I understand. Give me just a minute, Scott, I'm gonna ask Dan a couple more questions.
Okay,
What are you looking to do? Where do we move
take my
forward?
stuff, throw it away.
Where do we move from there?
He needs to remove as is requested in the order, and to get it off the property and
With
get
a
it
price.
cleaned up.
When are you gonna be back into town, Scott?
I mean,
In a week?
weather permitting, you know, if the weather gets bad, then it'll come stronger than today.
Okay,
And that's the schedule right now. My boss took the call from, the people he works for, and we just gone for another week, they have another job testing. But the schedule right now is for us to be home in a week.
so hypothetically speaking, you should be back next Monday,
Yes.
okay? You think it's gonna take you to manage the property?
Depends on how clean you're talking about. I don't know. I still have to work on them back there. You know, I still have to work on jobs back there. You know, it's the same job. We go out of town to do jobs and we have jobs there. So, I mean, you know, it's not like I'm coming back for vacation on Monday. You know, so I don't know how long. I told you that. You know, I don't have enough money to hire someone to do this work for me. I will get the fence up as soon as I possibly can. You know, you know, I'd love to tell you I'd get it done in 2 days. But if I had 2 full days to do it, well, I didn't have to go to work, that would be possible. But, that's not the case. You know, so I was, you know, I can't give you an answer for that, you know?
Yeah. All right, give me
But,
just,
you know, and I don't understand why it's such an issue. I can get some of the stuff cleaned up, but the other stuff is on that list, it's not junk. It's cool. You complain about my ladders, the snow blower, with the frame strength in your snow blower, but you can't even see it, you sitting at my front door. How is that an issue for me to own a snow blower? You know, I just don't get it. So I will do the best I can to clean it up, and I will do the best I can to get the fence up so that it hides it from you. Or from him, or from whomever is complaining about it.
okay, fair enough. Give me just a second. Let's see what, if the board has any questions or what their recommendations may or may not be.
Okay?
I have a quick question for clarity, Kevin, because either way, we need to be able to make some findings. So, if Dan's at the microphone, can I just ask you a couple of questions, Dan?
Yes,
Initially, it sounds like you, spoke with either Rick or Scott, and I guess that's my first question. Who actually is the record owner of this property? Is it Rick Shuey or is it, Scott, who we were just speaking with? Both names are listed.
Scott owns the property. Rick Shuey owned it prior to, Scott, moving into it. They had a verbal agreement, or maybe it was written, but it never was recorded at the county until January of 2024.
Okay, so as of today, there has been an of record transfer in favor of Scott. That's recorded in the recorder's office somewhere.
Correct.
Okay. And then it sounds like this matter commenced last fall. I think your first notice may have been October 6th of 2023. And in that first notice, there was there were two alleged violations, one for unsafe structure and equipment pursuant to 21.0303 K and G, I think. And then a citation to some of the building codes. And then the secondary issue was garbage, refuse, and rubbish, and you cited sections B, C, and D, and possibly I of the ordinance for that. So I guess that's my first question. Have any of those initial allegations changed? Has any aspect of the status of the property changed since October?
It's remained the same or gotten worse, more accumulation of items.
Okay. And then I see that you've made essentially the identical notice in it would have been early November of 2023. And then as you indicated, the final notice that you sent was in April of this year, which gave him until April 30th. And then it was after there wasn't a correction in April of this year that you brought it before the board. Am I understanding that correctly?
That is correct.
Okay, and are you offering the whole packet that was extended to us for the record for the commission, including the photographs and all the notices?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I had, Kevin.
Alright. Does the board have any questions or recommendations moving forward?
Say, Dan, wasn't there an agreement when Scott purchased that property? That wasn't that shed put on there that wasn't in the right spot or something? Wasn't that supposed to be moved?
That was supposed to have been moved, either to the back of the building.
Can I ask you a question about that, please? Can I ask you a question about that?
Yes, go ahead, Scott.
Okay, that thing's been there for 10 or 12 years. It should be closed from it, and according to the text of in my neighborhood, I only need to move it about 3 or 4 feet for it to line up with that thing. But it should be then plotted into where it is. It's not fully on my property. It's not in the way of the sidewalk, and it's just ridiculous that I let move it, it's full of stuff. And it's been there for 10 or 12 years. And this Julie told me that when it was delivered, it was put where then, when it was put there, then was that thing put it there. From what I understand now, I don't know, that's another pure thing, but that's what this Julie told me about that shit. And it's been there for a long, long time. I don't understand why now it's such an issue.
Alright, hold on.
It's just grandfathered in there, it's okay. There's other things to complain about, other than my dad said, that it's full of stuff. It's not like you can just, take a tractor, push the scale and move it. It's been there, it's been there a long damn time.
Okay, thank you, Scott. I understand. Hold on just a moment, okay?
Sorry.
Sam, did you have any more questions?
Yeah, I was just thinking that, I remember it never used to have doors out. Maybe it does now. I thought maybe you could move that back a little bit just to cover it up a little bit. Because if there was an agreement, I understood that he did agree to move it when he purchased that property.
That what now?
That's my understanding.
So what one of the commissioners is saying is that it was his understanding that when you purchased the property, that you had agreed to move the shed.
No, I never did. I never agreed to move that stuff. I told him that I would have a commission meeting about it to get grandfathered in, because it's been there for so damn long. Okay, it's full, and know, it hit me repaired too, you know, when Rick, you know, when Rick had the door open for, I don't know how many years, you know, at least I put the door back on it so that, you know, people can't see the mess inside of it, which I have straightened out, you know, I do have that semi-organized in there, but it's only so big.
Right.
But the door was laying there wide open for years, laying next to where it needs to go, but laying on the ground there for years, you know? And I, you know, and I picked that up and put a little deck in front of it and stuff, so, you know, I don't understand, you know, why that's a trouble thing, I have to move that on a couple of feet,
Okay,
you know?
Scott, I understand where you are at and where you're coming from. The commissioner just had a question regarding
Okay,
the
that's fine. And-
possible agreement. It's okay,
But Dan will tell you that I never agreed to move that shit,
okay.
you know?
All right, Tim, do you have any other questions? Bud?
No, I don't think so. It's just, I think it wouldn't be a problem if we had just, you know, some kind of barrier there where you just, everything wasn't in sight. Something could just be put back a little bit, where it's a little bit out of sight. We all have our junk spots, you know. I think it would probably be okay if it just wasn't so out in the open.
Jessica, do you have any questions? Or statements?
What exactly are you looking as an end result then? What are you looking to see?
It needs to be cleaned up and organized, and it's not that he has to remove everything. I mean, everybody has a little bit of something, but everything's at the front, in front of that shed, and it accumulates, it's alongside of the building of his home and in the rear. It's not the same as the rest of the neighborhood, and I've told Scott that you need to be looking like the rest of the neighborhood, or it's orderly.
It's fine, Dan.
Just 1 second, let me just get through here what I'm trying to figure out from Dan, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're okay. So you want everything moved. It doesn't all have to be cleaned up at this moment.
If there was headway, if he'd make some progress, I think everybody would say that I'm the easiest guy to work with. But if they do it and head in the right direction, but he just hasn't for 2 years, it's gotten worse.
All right, so, Jessica, do you have another question? Do I have a question?
Back and set up some sort of 2-week deadline to see some progress, or we could make some kind of motion to go proceed with that if there's no progress.
Scott, did you hear what she said?
You might not do that.
Does that sound?
There is project being done. I worked on it for, you know, a day and a half over this past weekend, you know, before I got, you know, got break down and stuff. So there is project being made. And having a key to the dump would be a big help so that I can do it when I have time to do it. Not just when, you know, it's open.
Right. So would you be agreeable to us give you some time? And you said maybe next week, if you're able to come back, you can spend a little bit of time and put up that privacy fence and try and clean up the mess. Do you think is that a logical?
You know, those are very, ambiguous words there because, I will clean up, you know, what needs to be cleaned up, but the fence is gonna hide it. And, you know, the commission can't say anything about what I have on my side of the fence. You can't see it without saying that the fence looking over it. Okay? I don't have garbage there. I'm not collecting garbage. It's all good stuff. It doesn't help to some people, but it's, you know, I have a use for everything in my yard.
Okay, so I understand that you would be agreeable to the terms of trying to work through this over the next couple of weeks and get it solved, right? Okay, that's all I was trying to ask. Okay, so,
He would need to get a fence permit, and what he tried to do in the last week or couple weeks was put up a fence or a barricade, blockade in the front. That's over 6 feet tall in the front, in front of the building, and it's makeshift. It's not a fence, it's using his stuff, boards, pallets, etc., to create this fence. It's not a fence.
It is a fact. That's the dictionary, look up the word.
Okay. So is there a motion from the board how they want to move? Today is the 17th.
If it's helpful procedurally, and I'm not trying to suggest which way you guys could go. I mean, I think you could bifurcate this. It's a little hard for me to hear what Scott was saying because he's appearing by telephone and I understand that. But by bifurcation, I mean, I think you could, as an option, for example, you could find that there is a nuisance. I mean, you've taken that information into the record. If you think in fact it's in violation of the ordinance, but as a couple of board members have kind of, I think, hinted at, you could stay or table the remedy portion if you wished. If you're trying to give Scott a little extra time to figure out how to deal with the issue, you could find that there is an issue, but then you could table the remedy piece, I guess. I just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that because we don't always bifurcate these things. Most of the time we just find a violation and assign a time period, but if there's an indication that this presents differently, you do have some latitude there for what it's worth.
And what, right?
No, it was a statement to the board. Hang tight for just a second. They're trying to,
Okay.
I can see the smoke.
If we give them 2 weeks, that it's July 1st.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
I think somebody gets-
So there is a violation that's
Yeah.
established. Okay, and then give them that time frame.
2 weeks.
Yeah, that's fine.
To make.
Tim, do you have anything?
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. I'd be even okay with like 30 days. I think, he's trying to work and we don't want to make it too difficult and, he's gonna take time out just to come to this meeting to defend it. I'd be okay with giving him a little leniency.
All right,
I'd be okay with 30 days even. If you want to go 2 weeks, I guess you could do that too.
I think 30 days is a good option. That gives him plenty of time to get into his schedule. I just need something in the form of a motion. Okay,
We need a motion for.
yeah, we need to
Finding of the nuisance.
first.
All right, I will make that motion.
Tim, did you hear her?
Can you repeat that, please?
Yes, I did make a motion for a finding of a nuisance for the property. That's a separate motion for giving him time.
Oh, okay, I'll second.
All right. Hang tight for just a second, Scott. We're gonna get through this, okay?
Okay, yeah, no problem.
All right, so with a motion and a second for the finding of the violation. No questions, comments, concerns from the board. We'll move to vote on that.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay? So moves. And now with the remedy aspect of it, I need one more motion.
I'd make a motion, we give him 30 days before any action is taken to him.
And how about comply with any other city ordinances regarding permitting?
Yeah, I guess he's gonna put up a fence, he's gonna have to get a permit for it, just like anybody else.
I'll second.
All right, Scott, so we're gonna vote on this real quick, but here's what the remedy or what the board's talking about for the remedy. So they find that yes, there is a violation, which you've already explained that yes, you agree with everything that Dan wrote, right? So what they're saying is that they want to give you 30 days to correct everything. That'll give you plenty of time, so you're not stressing over the next week while you're trying to work, okay? give you 30 days and just make sure that you stay compliant. If you guys are gonna do an offense, you have to stay compliant with the, city ordinances regarding permitting and stuff, and just stay in contact with Dan. Does that sound sufficient to you? Okay, all right, hang tight for just a second. So with the motion and a second for the remedy, no questions, comments, concerns from the board, we'll move the vote.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so moves. Okay, Scott, so that's how that's gonna go. Do you have any questions regarding?
How do I, can I get a permit, over the phone so that I don't have to worry about it when I get back, and then time to go to get it, you know, I mean, I told them 2 weeks ago to give me a permit for the thing. You know, and, or maybe more than that, but, he didn't, you know, tell me what to do or how to send it to nothing, you know, or bring me one, that I'll pay for it and stop or whatever. You know, I'd rather spend a whole extra my friends to go to see the whole of my permit, you know?
Yeah.
So when I do that over the phone.
Give me just a second. Dan's still here. Let's find out real quick, because I don't know the answer to that specific question.
Okay,
He wants to know if he can, get the permit over the phone, pay however he needs to, so that way when he returns, he's got all the paperwork done. He doesn't have to come down here to try to get it finished.
I need to go through with him very specifically and in details of what that permit will allow and will not allow.
So
For events.
will a phone call, can he call you and, or does it have to be in person?
I think it needs to be in person.
Okay, so he says that he would prefer it to be in person. It makes it easier that way, so he can explain the ordinances and the permitting stuff to you. So,
no,
okay, all right,
But okay, fine, I mean, that's what I have to do.
all right.
Take away time from getting anything real done.
Okay, well, we got to 30 days, so I think that's pretty good. I'm glad we're able to come to an agreement on that. Do you have anything else for us, Mr. Disregard, tonight?
No, we don't.
All right, thank you for your time, sir.
Okay, that's good.
You too. Okay, so now I just need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, no questions, comments, concerns from the board, we'll move the vote.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, meeting's adjourned at 6:07.
Thanks. Okay. Thought you were gonna call me back.
Let's see.